So we now stay on AI. So talking about ethical AI and public trust are Miguel Díaz and Professor Dawn Song. So I'll introduce Miguel and allow him the honor of introducing Professor Song. So Miguel Díaz is head of strategy and deputy head of the BIS Innovation Hub. And before he joined us in Basel, he was head of the Toronto Centre. And before that, he was head of the payment systems and financial market infrastructures at the Bank of Mexico. And before that, still at the Bank of Mexico, he directed strategic planning and managed macro-financial analysis. So Miguel.
Thank you so much, Henry. And thanks everyone for being with us. And right now we have a big treat for you. We're honored to have Professor Dawn Song. She is a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, probably one of the most laureated professors in her field. She's a MacArthur Fellow. She usually wins every other year the Best Paper Award in several dimensions. And she created an amazing institution, which is the Center for Responsible Decentralized Intelligence, which merges many of the technologies that we are actually in very deep need to implement in the central banking community. And she is a globally recognized expert in the context of privacy, security, and AI. So it's a perfect fit for what we're talking about right now. And we wanted to bring you someone that is actually in the frontier from an academic perspective and pushing things into places that we don't know where this will take us. But she does it very safely. So thank you very much for being here, Dawn, with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. It's my great honor and pleasure to be here. Mm-hmm.
So let me just set the stage for this. So everyone knows here about AI. Everyone has read about agentic. Everyone has seen how the foundational models have been evolving much faster than what we would have expected. And apparently this trend is just something that will continue to go on. Under this context, we have a distinction. So with all this power, we need the trust element to make sure that this power is used properly and to make sure that this power serves our purposes as societies. So first, to establish the room, Dawn. So we all have heard about this. We all think that we know what are the things that are happening in the frontier. But I would like you to share with us what you're seeing in terms of foundational models, in terms of agents. What do you think will happen realistically in the next 12 to 18 months, probably not more than that because it's too difficult? And what are the main things that you think that are being underappreciated out there?
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Great question. To one sense to summarize the developing, models, foundation models, and agentic AI area is really moving faster than what we, have expected or have imagined. So of course, the foundation model has been making a lot of progress, but what's really happening now is the fast advancement in agentic AI. So some of you may have heard, so I have been teaching this MOOC, Massive Open Online course, on agentic AI. So when I started the first edition of the MOOC, it was last fall. Back then, actually, there wasn't much talk about agents. People were not really talking about agents. Agent wasn't quite a thing. But however, I could foresee that agent is really the next frontier. So that's why I started the agent MOOC. As I said, I could foresee that agent is the next frontier, but still, I didn't expect that then suddenly this year is it's called the year of agents, and everybody's talking about agents now. So for our MOOC now we have close to around 30,000 enrolled globally. And then recently at Berkeley, our center that you just mentioned, the Berkeley Center for Responsible Decentralized Intelligence, RDI, we hosted actually the largest agentic AI summit. We had over 2,000 in-person attendees, and online we had over 40,000 that joined online. So for people who want to learn about agents, both the Agent MOOC it's a great resource, and also this Agentic AI Summit gives a fairly comprehensive overview of what's happening in Agentic AI across all the different layers of the stack. Started from infrastructure, the agent development framework, and then foundations of agents and applications, horizontal and vertical applications, and so on. So with that said, yes, you're welcome to check out these videos and so on to learn more. So with that said, really looking at what's happening in Agentic AI space, I would say essentially across the board, all different capabilities and also in all different domains, we are seeing amazing advancements. So let me give you some examples. So first, so actually my group has been among the earliest and developed some of the most popular benchmark evaluation out there used for LLMs, for agents, and so on. So for example, people may have heard about MMLU, which is the most popular, so far has been the most popular evaluation benchmark for LLMs and so on. So essentially every model, when they come out, this is one of the key benchmarks. And you can see the fast advancement in terms of the performance of all these models on the benchmark. And also we developed some of the most popular benchmark called Math also, which measures the mathematical reasoning capabilities of these models as well. And on all these benchmarks, the model's capability performance have been increasing drastically. And you may have heard recently, for example, for the Olympiad math competition, called IMO, and also for informatics Olympiad these competitions. So Google and OpenAI, Google officially has won the IMO Gold just very recently, and OpenAI has won the unofficially the IMO Gold also, because they didn't officially join the competition, and they have won the informatics Olympiad Gold as well. So these are just some examples showing that now the model capabilities and also essentially agent capabilities has been increasing drastically. And as I mentioned, it's really across the board for mathematical reasoning, just in general reasoning, and of course for coding capabilities, and for computer use, web agents. So many of these actually, for example, web agents last year didn't even exist. And this year already web agent capabilities are actually fairly good. I mean, it's still not quite that practical yet, but you can actually already use it in various domains. And also AI for science and AI R&D. So now recent work has shown that AI agents now can actually do normal research, can propose new research ideas, and then can run experiments on its own, and then can write the whole paper by itself. So in fact, now there's a new conference where, so actually it's very interesting. So last year, we wrote a paper largely using LLMs, so actually have LLMs to debate with each other. And there's a big question about whether we should use whether frontier AI models should be open source, should be open or closed. There's a huge debate. So we had the idea of how about we have LLM debate and tell us what LLM thinks. So we wrote a paper and based on the debate results from the LLM, and then we submitted the paper. The conference reviewer said, "Oh, the paper looks really interesting. It's a fantastic finding. But however, given that we declared that most of the findings are from LLM debates, then the reviewer, the conference basically said, we had to reject the paper because we only accept papers written by humans. But however, fast forward, I'm just showing this as an example of how fast AI is moving. So this year now, there's a new conference where they only accept papers that's written by AI. They do not accept papers written by humans. So this is a big contrast, how you see how fast AI is moving. So you're asking me, to talk about the advancement essentially across the board in all different aspects, in all different domains. AI is moving really fast.
Super. So this is quite frightening. Now, what you're saying is we have
Yes.
we have lots of geniuses in every aspect of the world, coding, mathematics, everything, and we gave these geniuses computers to operate through these computers with the agentic element. And the problem is that we don't really understand how these geniuses are processing this information, or what are the potential issues that we might see in the reasoning processes behind these things. So jumping from the power of these things to the potential caveats or risks or unknowns, how should we understand this black box that we all talk about? So we all say, yeah, this is a black box, we cannot understand it. Can you give us a little bit of how to understand? How is it possible even to understand? What are the efforts that the community has been putting into understanding how this reasoning works?
That's a very good question. It's a very important question. I would say, actually, in human history, I think I would call it's the first time that we really developed such a powerful technology that we do not understand how it works at all. Yeah. So I call it the alien technology. Even though as humans, we build it. So to contrast how traditionally we have been building systems software and systems that we use, we have human programmers and sit there and write the code line by line. And in that, through that development, we design what the system is supposed to do, then we decompose it, then we write parts of the system, and then in the end we put it together. So in that process, we actually understand what the goals are, what the system is supposed to do, and we understand how we actually build the system. But however, in contrast, for these LMs, for these now foundation models and so on, so this is the first time so first of all, we are building the system in a completely different way. We don't write it line by line. Yes, we write the basic code to train the model, but then largely, as we know that now, training these foundation models costs a huge amount of money, like billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, and we just we can understand, we know how the training code is written, but then we basically run this training process, we give it huge amount of data, huge amount of compute, and then this model, right, of course, it learns the weights in the model and so on. But then now we create this thing that we call it black box, because we actually really don't know what it has really learned and how it actually behaves. So yes, you can give it inputs as a prompt, and then it does inference and give you the output. But it learns such a complex function, we have no idea actually what the function really does. This is very much in contrast to the traditional way of building software, where you can inspect line by line what the code does, and then even though it's complex, but still through line by line, we kind of know what the system does. But for this one, it's learning a really complex function. What the model is, it's learning a huge, really complex function with, and it's a function, what this does is a function approximator, but it's approximating also essentially, our knowledge, like all the input data that has been trained on, and so on. And as a consequence, we don't understand how it works, and we don't even know what kind of behaviors it has learned. And oftentimes, it has these emergent behaviors and emergent capabilities that it has learned. This is also in contrast to the traditional system and software that we have built. Because the traditional software, it does what you programmed it to do. But with this new type of models, this new type of AI systems, we actually don't know other capabilities that it can do. That's why also how it helps us. It often surprises us. Oh, it actually can do this. We didn't know that it actually can do this. On one hand, it helps us, but on the other hand, it also causes huge challenges. And there has been a lot of methods, approaches that we have been trying to develop, including, for example, interpretability, different types of interpretability, to try to understand what kind of circuits the model has learned. Also, we have done work on, we call it the top-down, interpretability and so on. They're trying to understand through looking at the model's activations, actually trying to learn what the model, how the model is behaving and so on. So some of our work actually showed that by looking at the model's activation, we can actually train some kind of train simple models or learn certain directions, how the model is behaving. And then we can actually, during inference time, we can actually modify these activations, for example, amplifying it along certain dimensions, and so on, can then actually make the model behave more honest or dishonest, or even change its political leaning as well. So these are all very interesting methods that we can use to help us to understand and also control the model behaviors better. But still, it's right now we are just scratching the surface. Given the complexity, it's very, very difficult to actually understand how the model works.
It brings several questions in terms of whether you have something more intelligent than yourself and you want to control it. Could you do it? So let's not get into that one probably too much. But one other very interesting element in the context of power and trust is this can be used by individuals with a good intent, but it can also be used by individuals with bad intent. So we just saw a couple of weeks ago, Anthropic came out saying that one of their models, Claude, have been used for a generalized attack in terms of cybersecurity and in terms of bringing credentials of individuals in a systematic way. And Anthropic is a very particular case because they are trying to look at what the models are doing, but some others are not. So we really don't know how deep the cyber criminals are actually using these elements. And actually, I would like to ask you, Don, because I know that your team has done something on the positive side of this coin, and your teams have identified actual flaws in open source code. But can you share with us a little bit what your team did and how can we face this big challenge that is coming on people with ill intent using these powerful tools?
Great, yeah. Thanks for the question. This is an area that I'm particularly, personally, very concerned. So on one hand, of course, we are all enjoying the great advancements of AI, help us to do, increase productivity, do great things. But on the other hand, unfortunately, AI can be misused by attackers. And I would say that, and hence this can lead to huge risks. And in particular, I would say that in cybersecurity, I would say this is one of the biggest risk areas for the concern. Because AI is a dual-use technology, it can help both attacker side and defender side. And with our recent work, again, as I mentioned, AI capabilities has been increasing really, really fast, and it's much faster than, in general, what we have expected. And in particular, in cybersecurity, some of our recent work has shown the really fast increase in AI capabilities, particularly in cybersecurity. So here, let me give you two examples. So we did two pieces of work recently. One is called the Bounty Bench, where we took real-world bounty tasks for web applications. So these are web developers in the real world. They set up these bounties, basically give monetary reward to white hat hackers to help them to find vulnerabilities in their code and patch vulnerabilities to get monetary reward. So what we have shown is that we have built AI agents taking these real-world bounty tasks. We show that today's AI agents can actually solve some of these real-world bounty tasks and can win in the equivalent of tens of thousands of dollars of bounties. So basically, AI agents today can make money by claiming these bounties. So that's one example. Another example is we built a new benchmark using close to 200 real-world, large-scale, widely distributed security-critical open-source software. So this open-source software has previously discovered over 1,500 vulnerabilities. So we built AI agents and tasked it to do two things. One is to see for these AI agents how much of these previously known vulnerabilities it can find. And also, two, whether these AI agents can actually find what's called 0 days, previously unknown vulnerabilities. So what we have shown is that these AI agents, first, they can now find close to 20% of previously known vulnerabilities. And then two, furthermore, it now actually can find 0 days. So our agents found 15 0 days, and a number of CVEs have been issued for these 0 days as well. So for 15 0 days in these large-scale, widely distributed, real-world open source software. And also keep in mind that these open source software, they have been fast tested over a long period of time because they are security critical. And even with this, still, our AI agents were able to find 0 days in these large-scale, widely distributed real-world software. So this indicates that AI agents' capabilities are increasing really, really fast in this case, particularly in cybersecurity. So this poses further challenges. On one hand, yes, AI can help defenders, but on the other hand, it can also help attackers. So in our recent work, we also did some data analysis, exactly trying to analyze the question, given AI as a dual-use technology that can help both the attacker side and defender side, who will AI help more? And our analysis unfortunately showed that in the near term, due to certain natural asymmetry, for example, attackers only need to win once, but defenders have to defend against all bugs, attacks, and so on. So unfortunately, in the near term, AI is going to help attackers more. So this, of course, poses huge challenges, given that, as we know today, already, for example, a lot of financial systems have been attacked, and so on. Attackers are getting, a lot of money, and so on. Now with the AI, things can be a lot worse. With AI, it can significantly reduce attack costs and increase scale of attacks. So with that, also, we recently just launched what we call Frontier AI Cybersecurity Observatory as an open platform to actually collect all these AI in security benchmarks, to have the community come together to do continuous monitoring of AI capabilities in cybersecurity to help the community to build also better defenses and increase resilience.
Yeah, it's very sad that we don't have 2 more hours to discuss many more topics, but so I'm going to stop you from scaring us. And now I want you, Dawn, to help us see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so what kind of technical governance aspects do you think that can help us get into have the most promising perspective today? And what are the ways in which, concrete ways in which we can build actually safely and accountable systems without stopping them from bringing all the power?
Okay. Yeah, this is a great question. Yes, I think it's helpful to end the fireside chat on a more positive note. So there are a few concrete things I like to mention I think can help the audience. So first, in terms of governance, so recently, we had a proposal with a number of leading AI scholars that has just been published from Science, the leading journal, called the Pact for Science and Evidence-Based AI Policy, is that especially when we deal with these risks and so on, it's very important to take a science and evidence-based approach. For example, even for AI in finance, what you should do with the regulation, what kind of governance you should use, it's very important to ground these kind of discussions in science and evidence. And related to that, more concretely, what can people do? So one important aspect is evaluation. So as I mentioned, my group has been among the earliest to build this benchmark evaluation. But now with agentic AI, evaluation is even more important. And now we are actually building a new open framework for evaluation, in particular for reproducible, standardized, and transparent evaluation. And in particular, this actually can help various companies, institutions to really, because as you deploy agentic AI systems, number one important thing is for evaluation, both on reliability, on capability, and also on trustworthiness. That's the number one you need to do. And I think this new framework, I'd love to actually collaborate with the audience here, can really help, I think, companies and institutions to really up their game is to do really standardized, reproducible, transparent evaluation. So that's on the evaluation side. And the other side is, of course, when you build agentic AI systems, these systems are much more complex than ever before because now they are much more dynamic than the typical traditional systems that are actually fairly static. And you need even more importance for trustworthiness and for security, risk assessment, and for defenses and so on. So for that, we are also building secure agent framework to help with defense in depth and also for safe by design, secure by design. I just taught a 2-hour lecture in my last MOOC on how to build safe and secure agentic AI. We don't have that much time, so only just to add the pointer. This is a very important topic for every company, every institution that's deploying agentic AI. Security and trustworthiness is number one, and risk assessment and mitigation. And we really also need completely new solutions. I hope that the secure agent framework can also help.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Dawn. I just want to close with those words that you mentioned about trustworthiness. The central bank community is about trust. And if we aim to jump into this next wave of powerful technologies, we need to figure out a way in which we can bring this trustworthiness to our systemically important tasks so that we are not left behind by the world. So very happy to collaborate with you and with all the academia in this topic in the future. Thank you so much for joining us, and please an applause.